Good morning. It's December 27th, 2016. I will call the Wright County Board meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda, or excuse me, the minutes of December 20th, 2016.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner DeLyden, second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Review and approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything to change on the agenda?
Chair, I will move approval of the agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Hewsom, second by Commissioner DeLyden. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second. Motion by DeLyden to approve the consent agenda. Is there, and a second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. 9:05 a.m. Ellen Wilczek, Facilities Services Director. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Here to make a recommendation to award the roof replacement project for the Public Works building. Last week, or last board meeting, we opened the bids. We had 10 participating companies. Low bid was Burwald Roofing at $240,510. Had some discussions with Inspec, our consultant on that. He put together the spec and is working through the process with us. They've had discussions with Burwald to qualify those bids, make sure everything is on the up and up, and have a good reputation in working with Burwald. They feel satisfied that that is a valid bid, and we should move forward with that. They've supplied a recommendation letter that they recommend we move forward with Burwald, so I would agree with that and recommend we move forward with a contract with Burwald Roofing.
Where are they located out of?
They are in St. Paul. They were $240,510. The second bid was $289,132. So it's a fairly substantial number that I had some concerns with. But after some discussion with Inspec, they've worked through that, and they just feel they were really aggressive on the project and wanted the job. So I feel pretty good that their specs are very detailed, and we'll get a good product out of it.
Good. And it is,
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Burwald Roofing to do the partial roof replacement of the Public Works site.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner DeLyden. Any further discussion?
And this is a steel roofing, and Inspect is going to stand behind it. This is going to solve a lot of our problems out there.
It's supposed to, yes, they designed it, and they're going to stand behind it.
Good. Good.
And Inspec going to be inspecting the construction?
Inspecting? I don't know if they inspect.
Well, isn't that the company you're talking about?
Inspect is the
I understand.
engineering.
Are they going to be inspecting the construction?
I would
or if
assume
it's-
so.
Yes.
If it doesn't work,
Behind it.
it would be very easy for them to suggest that it wasn't built to the way in which they designed it.
They will be doing
Okay.
inspection oversight of the construction project, yes.
Very well. That's good. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Greg, are you in for Sean? I am. Okay.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm here to present to you ordinance amendment number 16-8. This details or deals with amending setbacks and definitions for essential services in the Wright County zoning ordinance, chapter 155. The ordinance is before you. I handed out the comments we received back from Buffalo Township, the city of Cokato, Cokato Township, Township of Corona, Franklin Township, Victor Township, and Woodland Township. And also in the packet are the minutes from the Planning Commission where they conducted the public hearing, and they recommended unanimous approval to the county board. Stand for any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that. Motion by Commissioner DeLyden, second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, just that I know we're going to be talking about it at the Township Officers Association meeting also, but I would urge every township to look at what we did and get with their attorney and do something very similar, because this really does protect them in the future if they do a road project and now the utilities have placed something in their road right away or just outside of their road right away where they need to do work without, it really makes them get permission to do it, and I think they should follow up on it. You would agree with that, Craig?
Commissioner Swatsky, Commissioner Burrell, yes, I would. Highly recommend that the townships consult with their attorneys and get a road permitting utility system in place.
That's it.
So would that have resolved the issues in Buffalo Township with the solar project, for example?
Commissioner Swatsky, if they had that permitting, yes, it would have.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Did we already vote on it?
No.
Just motion
Commissioner Deline?
With the county doing this, doesn't the townships fall underneath this? Or do they have to go, because it's township roads, this is only follows for county roads?
Commissioner Swatsky, Commissioner Dahl-Leiden, the setbacks would apply to township roads as well as county roads. However, we're exempting utilities that are placed in the road right-of-way, which is where the permitting system comes into play. We only permit utilities on county roads and county highways. So townships dealing with their own township roads would have to have their own permit system for those, but the setbacks would still apply.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries unanimous. 9:10, Bob Hevel, Auditor Treasurer. Good morning, Bob.
The only item I have are the claims. This is the last claims list that are going to come out of the revenue expenditure budget reports. This is the cash basis. Any claims that we receive subsequent to this that belong in 16 will be accrued for the financial statements. So today, before you, is the last claims list for cash purposes.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $578,099.36, 273 vendors, 466 transactions subject to audit.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Hewsome. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Let's see here. It's both sets?
Consent agenda.
There it is. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Okay, Personnel Committee of the Whole. Commissioner Hewsome, please.
Thank you. The Personnel Committee of the Whole met on December 20th, 2016. Members present, Burrell, Delyden, Hewsome, Potter, Sawatsky, and L. Kelly. Others present, T. Kelly, Kivala, Haggerty, Hess, and Vetch. And the subject was the elected officials' salaries. And the meeting was continued from December 13th. Discussion occurred regarding the salaries of each of the elected officials. The recommendation was to authorize a 2017 salary of $125,532 for Auditor Treasurer Kivala, authorize a 2017 salary of $142,305 for County Attorney Tom Kelly, and authorize a 2017 salary of $127,139 for County Sheriff Joe Haggerty. And with that, Mr. Chair, I will move the recommendation in the minutes.
Okay. There's been a motion by Commissioner Hewsome. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Item B, resolution setting auditor treasurer salary for 2017.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for auditors, treasurers.
Second.
Motion by Delyden, second by Potter. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Burrell.
Aye.
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 Resolution carries unanimous. Resolution setting attorney salary for 2017.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Delyden,
Second.
second by Hewsome. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Hewsome.
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
I'm going to say aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Resolution setting sheriff's salary 2017.
I'll move forward that resolution.
I'll second it.
Motion by Burrell, second by Delight. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Burrell?
Aye.
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 Resolution carries unanimous. Resolution setting county board salary for 2017.
I'll move forward that resolution as well.
Motion by Burrell,
I'll second that.
second by Potter. Any further discussion? Huesum?
Aye.
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 No.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Resolution setting per diems for 2017.
I'll move forward that resolution too.
It's the same 50 as it is right now, I assume.
That
is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's listed
Yep,
here.
there it is at the
on
end.
the back.
Okay. Motion by Burrell, did I hear?
Yep.
Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Potter. Any further discussion? Not. Commissioner Burrell?
Aye.
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 Resolution carries unanimous. Schedule committee of the whole meeting regarding Wright County abatement policy and resolution delegating certain abatement powers to the auditor treasurer.
Mr. Chair, as you recall from the last meeting, there was discussion about setting up a meeting for this. It was determined to be a committee of the whole at last Tuesday's meeting. However, we did not set a date and a time for that committee of the whole to take place. So it's back on the agenda as kind of a housekeeping issue this week.
So you're looking for a date and time. Did you have anything to suggest?
More of a caution, we do plan to have the quarterly leadership team after the board meeting on Tuesday the 10th, so maybe be aware of that.
You're right.
I won't be here on the 10th.
And I know, yes, Commissioner Houston will also be out, so
Mr. Chair, on the Tuesday, the 17th, we have a ditch committee of the whole at 1 p.m. I don't know if this could be done at 10:30 on that, on the 17th,
Or 11 o'clock after a board meeting?
11 o'clock.
That works for me.
Charlie?
Oh,
Could we go 10:30 instead of 11?
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on the
it
board
depends on
meeting.
what time.
I know, but if we say 10:30 and the board meeting gets done early, we could start right
We
away.
could,
10:30?
yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to schedule a committee of the whole, this is referring to the abatement policy, for Tuesday, January 17th at 10:30.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Huesum. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Advisory committees, advisory board updates. Commissioner Houston, please.
I went to the Clearwater River Watershed District meeting last Wednesday, and they're working on, a number of issues, the Hidden River sewage treatment, and looking at outlet control for School Section Lake. So some of these projects are in either Meeker County or Stearns County, but they attended the MOD annual meeting, and so there was setting some legislative priorities, and it was, pretty extensive meeting, talking about a lot of projects, but nothing I would say that is earth-shattering for us in Wright County at this time. So that's about all I have.
Mr. Potter?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Last Wednesday, the SEDS for Wright County, County Economic Development Strategies met up in Monticello. We have our, as I discussed before, Jen Russell is our new director of that. We put forth a schedule for the next 4 months, about the 4 cornerstones of trying to get our SEDS plan together to make us eligible for federal money. First is the human capital, and it goes on to the different segments. Got all 4 counties are revved up to get this going. I had to promise to let Dan Weber back across the river. That's the only reason they allowed him to come in Sherburne County. But anyway, it was a productive meeting, and starting in January, we start our series of meetings to put together the cornerstones to submit the final SEDS plan for the feds. Interesting meeting. It's actually going. Dwayne Nordhagen is basically our main contact with that. I attended just to make sure I understand that, because Commissioner Swatsky had been involved in that for a long time. I just need to get my hands around what exactly they do. But it's good meetings to go to and get to see what the other counties are doing. Next item, Mr. Chair, last Thursday I was fortunate enough to be sitting on the MnDOT Variance Committee, which I've sat on a few times. It's kind of an interesting set of scenarios when a road does not, or a bridge does not fit within the norms of the engineering requirements. They have the option to go before Variance Committee. Quite a few of these get screened out before they ever get to this point, some that are just way past ridiculous out there. It's one of those places where a lot of towns, a lot of counties have issues that don't meet certain criteria. And it's nice they have a process there that when there is a dispute or is a problem, there is a way to resolve it in a more of a fair way, which is, it's kind of nice. We're sitting down with the engineers and city council members and that from around the state. It's kind of a interesting format to you get to, basically, for lack of better words, you get to play God with other people's road projects. So it's kind of an interesting process to go through, and you've got to go through the statutes and everything else, and then you got to inject a little common sense. I know that's a little strange for government, but we get to do that.
I'm guessing spatial constraints are a big component of that.
The spatial is a major one. Curves without taking out churches and houses, wetland considerations, average daily trips. Like you get a township road down the Root River, needs a bridge that's got the old metal riveted bridge, 150 cars a day. You can't meet the new specifications with that bridge and make it. It's the only crossing for 15 miles each way. The locals use it. It did make sense to do it. That was just one, and to meet certain design criteria would have just made it just cost prohibitive to do that. So it's kind of a nice process, and quite a few of them are more metro where they have they can't make the 30-mile-an-hour turn, so they got to have some kind of variance to match that, again, without taking out houses and businesses and churches and the likes. So I enjoy sitting on that. That's kind of nice. There was you get to see other problems that we get there, and one day Wright County might be in that situation. I'm not sure.
Monday?
We're all good to go, Chad? Well, there you go. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'm going to pass it this time.
On the 15th of December, the Water Management Task Force met. Most of it was dedicated to the aquatic invasive species budget for next year. And they gave us some ideas on what had happened with Lake Sylvia, with the
Starry Stonewort?
Starry Stonewort. And they didn't get all of it. They think they got the majority of it. The biggest problem was that the DNR wouldn't close that lake access, so we don't know how much damage has occurred in the long run yet, which is, again, extremely disappointing that a group that's supposed to be responsible for our waters doesn't take the initiative to try and solve the issues before it becomes even worse. But the budget was set pretty much, majority of it will be some for education, a lot of it will be for inspections at a number of the different lakes going forward. And that'd be about it.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment for Commissioner Delighten on that. Commissioner Delighten, January 17th, Mr. Fred Bankston will be addressing the board on an acquisition of a property by Pelican Lake. That'd be a good chance for you to vent this, or other people could be here because you'll put him on the spot. He wants to come before us. He's fair game then, right?
Yeah.
Talking about Fred?
Fred?
Well,
Well, he
he is, except it's not his area.
Well, he can carry the message, though.
You're right, he can carry the message. I think that's a good point. Although we can't blame him because I don't think he had any authority in that at all.
No, but he needs to be aware of that because it doesn't hurt.
No, he needs to, he knows what's right. You know, to allow access to remain open when there's such a
There's,
bad
yeah,
aquatic species out there
Right.
where there was a really good opportunity to control it and not do anything about it.
yeah.
Just really,
There was no reason to delay it.
really disappointing.
Great, you're wrong.
But I guess we're just county commissioners. We really, don't have the expertise that DNR does, and all the full understanding of what could happen if they shut down a lake access for a short period of time to prevent damaging a lake's infrastructure. Okay, I'm off my high horse. Charlie?
At Emergency Services Board last Wednesday up in St. Cloud, a lot of things, but the one thing that's going to affect all of us at some point is the next gen 911, which will be a text, you'll be able to text to 911. And initially, it's going to be set up kind of as a regional area, so it could be like Wright County might receive a 911 text for Meeker County or whatever, or Carver County might do it for Wright County, but it's going to be set up kind of regionally to begin with, and then eventually every county will take over. It's a really involved process because to know the location of the cell phone, to know whose area it's in, that GIS part of it. But they're putting it together, and I asked the question, I said, are there other parts of the country that are, have this accomplished, have it done already? And apparently not. We're right on the cutting edge with some other states that are doing it, so
Yeah.
that should be coming. That they're still looking to roll that out sometime this year. I know it.
In 2017?
Yeah.
Not this year, 2016.
2017, excuse me. Yes.
Mr. Chair.
I mean, we're really close to 2017. And
Mr.
I thought
Newsom?
that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Isn't it, and part of that also is that citizens will be able to take a picture and,
Yeah.
via their phone and basically text it to the dispatchers, so the emergency responders can see if there's a car on fire, if there's a crash or whatever, they can kind of get a visual before they arrive
Right.
and have an idea of what they may need to do so they can be kind of thinking about it, so they're just not arriving on this scene without, like they are now. They have some information, but this is going to be, I think, just really, like you said, cutting edge stuff, and it'll be great.
And we kind of have some of that, Bob. When we do a picture on Drainage DB, it knows right where that camera is. I do believe, right? That it could almost pinpoint it, and then, yeah. So I mean, we're kind of using some of that stuff already.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep, definitely.
that's where it's going anyway. So that's all. That's it.
Well, Mr. Chair, today was your last day to run the board, to tell us what to do. How's that feel?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Who has the,
Bittersweet?
is it Lee? Lee's gonna, well, we'll talk about it in a minute.
yeah,
Well, now
Are you
next
gonna
year,
pick
you
it
can
on
sit on
Lee,
that
or-
side and heckle.
yeah.
What's that?
Don't expect to
Oh,
see me
okay.
out there.
Yep, thought I was going to.
He'll be viewing at home.
Don't expect for that to be happening either.
It's probably the most watched, I'm guessing, huh? Well, it's your day, Pat. Congratulations on many years as a Wright County Commissioner. And through the time of your service, Wright County has really had a great period of growth. I think in '91 it was approximately 70,000 residents. We're now at 131. So I know you've been around for a lot of the issues over the past 25 plus years. And I know as a board and myself, I've really appreciated your insight and wisdom on some of those issues, and your immaculate steel trap memory on that, as well as your ability to calculate numbers kind of at the drop of a hat. I'm always amazed at. So I know as we move forward, we'll greatly miss you, and I'm sure we won't have a discussion about transit or Bertram or many other topics without thinking about Pat. So on behalf of the county, I'd like to present you with this plaque reading, Pat Sawatsky, in appreciation of your dedicated service as a county commissioner to the citizens of Wright County.
Well, speech. I'll take the podium at this time.
I don't know how to click that over, you know?
Right over.
Hold on, Pat, 1 second.
Got to get the camera over there.
I promise not to speak for more than a minute, and that would be not more than 1 minute for each of the years that I spent here, so. I don't really have a prepared discussion, but I got a couple of notes here with some talking points, so that's where I'm going to begin. Quite frankly, I'm not sure where to start. I never expected to be here 26 years when I first came, but you know how things go. Sometimes you get involved in stuff and you don't want to walk away in the middle of things, and people give you encouragement and you decide to stay along, and what you thought was maybe going to be a short period of time turns into a longer period of time. There are some people I want to talk about and some different topics I want to talk about, but first off, I got a nice 25-year mug here, and 2-3 weeks ago, somebody in this room said that they've been here more than 25 years and they never got a mug. And I think it's probably the only person in the room that was here literally at my first meeting. I think the only person that was in the room today that was at my first meeting was John Haller. And John, you said you didn't get a mug, and you've been here more than 25 years, so there's a mug. A mug for a mug. Now, if Ed DuBois were here today, he certainly was here my first meeting as well, and he's been here for many, but Ed's not here today, so. But I think, like I say, when I look around, there's some people that worked for the county when I first started. Tom Kelly, you were working for Wright County when I first started, and Brian Osselson was. Todd, were you here in 91 or shortly thereafter? 93. Kelly, were you here in 91? 94, okay. So 84. So you were here in 91. I thought you were. So there's 3 people. I don't think there's anybody else that was here in 91. There's 3 people that were here in 91. I doubt you were at the first board meeting. I don't know. You could have been, Brian. You were at a lot of board meetings back over the years. So, I mean, you may have been there. I don't know if you recall or not, if you'd have been at that one. But I suspect Wyman Nelson would have probably certainly been in the room. But in any event, as the plaque indicates, I've been here since 1991. And when I started on the county board in 1991, someone timed me to make sure I don't go over my 26 minutes, by the way. When I started in 1991, with me was Arlen Nelson from Buffalo, Michelle Bogengrief from Franklin Township, Wes Wachowski from Clearwater, and ours, 20 minutes left, I got more than that. And Ozzie Arlene from Victor Township. I served with each of those for 2 years. When I first started as well, elected sheriff was Don Hozempa, elected county attorney Wyman Nelson, Darla Groshans was the elected auditor treasurer, and Marcia Lanto was the elected recorder. She was the last elected recorder in the county. After she left, we appointed somebody and never had another election again, but Marcia was here for a good many decades. You guys probably know, how many years did Marcia serve as recorder? Kelly, you maybe know. Recorder? Huh? As recorder. Okay. But she was here many more than that. But in any event, in 93, things changed drastically because the 4 commissioners that I served with in 91, much like what happened in 2012, none of them were back in 1993, and I began serving with Dick Mattson and Jack Russick, who I served 20 consecutive years with. The 3 of us served 20 years. That's probably got to be a Wright County record, I'm thinking. I don't know. Judy Rose from Buffalo came on at that time, as did Ken Jude from Maple Lake. Next on the board was Elmer Eichelberg from St. Michael. Ike, Jack, Dick, and I served 14 years together. And, you know, I think it's unusual, and I think it speaks to just consistency in government and that people were happy with what was going on, and I kind of am proud of that. You know, voters didn't feel like they had to throw out the county board because the county board was doing it not the way they wanted it done. So, you know, when I see that consistency, that's kind of what makes me probably most proud, is not just that there's longevity, but that longevity represents something, and that represents that there's generally a positive belief about what has been occurring. So later on in time, Carla Heater got on the county board. Don't want to miss anybody here. Later on, Carla was replaced by Rose Thielen. Let's see, I think, let's see, you guys, Charlie, you replaced Dick and
Well, it got redistricted.
in that area, but then Mark came on at that time and Mike came on, and so I think I've gotten everybody, if I'm not mistaken. 15 commissioners I served with. I enjoyed them all. I didn't agree with them all on all the topics, and sometimes I had some extreme debates with a few of them, but you know, it didn't mean that they didn't come here with the intent of doing what they thought was right and worked really hard doing it, so I have respect for all of them. Even those, like I say, that I didn't necessarily always agree with. Things I'm proud about as a Wright County Commissioner. You know, I'm proud of our open government, the way that a citizen of Wright County can come up to this podium and talk to the county board. You guys have seen it since you've been here for 4 years, and I've seen it for many years. Somebody shows up before the meeting, they want to talk to their county board, and you know, I've seen other places, not necessarily in county government, but maybe, for example, and you sometimes see it on the news or something at a city hall where someone wants to talk, and they won't let them talk. You know, they tell them some phony baloney like you're not on the agenda, or you know, this ain't a public hearing, you know, that kind of monkey business. And here at Wright County, if people want to come and talk to the board, they get a chance to talk to the board. Sure, we have public hearings and everybody's required by law to speak, but you know what? If there's not a public hearing and you raise your hand, we're going to call on you and give you an opportunity. Some places it doesn't happen that way. I'm glad it happens that way here. I hope it continues to happen that way here. I'm sure it will. But that's something that I'm proud of. You know, we don't always agree with the people that come up here and tell us things and whatnot, but we listen to them. We let them have their opportunity to speak, and we give them a fair shake, and that's something I'm really proud about. You know, I'm proud about when people, over the years, I've been contacted by folks on various issues about the good work our staff has done, and I'm proud of that. You know, it used to be to get actual letters from people, you know, oh, I communicated with someone in your organization, and they did this, and I want you to know, we don't really get a letter anymore. Not very often, of course. You know, mail still exists, but, you know, now folks are more often to send us an email or maybe tell us out in public or drop a phone call. But our citizens who are our customers deserve good public service, and I think overwhelmingly our staff provides it to them, and I'm very thankful for the staff that do that. I can tell you, like I say, nothing has meant more to me over the years than getting good, positive feedback. You know, a week ago, Charlie shared with me a voice message from somebody that was driving from Wright County and I can't remember, into Carver County, and mentioned how great the roads were maintained on the Wright County side and relative to the Carver County side. I mean, those are things that I'm proud of. You know, we have people in the organization that, you know, deal in a lot of different capacities. Some of the folks kind of maybe not much different than your standard business office, and others, I mean, are dealing with people in life and death situations or issues of their family and their kids and that sort of things with huge emotional impacts. I think everybody in this organization has an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives if it's just making them feel better for a minute. Others of you have an opportunity to really make differences and have made differences with families and individuals that literally will last that family or that child or that individual a lifetime. And I appreciate those that have done so and those that continue to do so each and every day. The organization is, when I got here, I think there was about 335 people. Today there's well over 700 employees. Most of them are very outstanding employees. I think, again, I'm proud when I get that feedback. You know, I'm proud of our Wright County citizens. Our citizens of Wright County are good people, and in part it makes it easier to serve them because they are. You know, you look at things like, you know, take things that you can probably use as an example. I mean, we have a low crime rate in Wright County. It's a fact. I've said it. Some other counties don't like it when I tell them that ours is lower than theirs. That bothers them. It upsets them. I've said that before, and it's upset people, hasn't it, Todd? You know, our people voted a higher percentage than other counties on average. We have higher voter turnout. I think the unemployment rate relative to many counties in the state and Wright County is low. We got a low poverty rate. That's probably related to the low unemployment, but it's indicative of a group of people, a population of people that get up in the morning and do what they ought to do. They take care of themselves. They do the right thing. They go to work. They want to contribute to society. Now granted, every county has great people like that. I just think we got more than most. And I'm proud of that. That makes me proud. And again, I think it's easier to govern when you have people that are just generally doing what they ought to be doing. It's a lot cheaper to govern when you have people that do what they ought to be doing. People in our county, we got cities that are growing. They ain't what they were 26 years ago. Many of them are twice as big as they were 26 years ago, but yet we still have citizenship in our cities in Wright County. We still have Lions clubs and Rotary groups and strong schools that the public really believes in and participates in. There's still community pride that exists, and again, the citizens display what I guess they display a level of citizenship that makes our county great. And not that there isn't great citizens in other counties, but I think we have, relative to others on the citizenship scale, I think we are high. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a commissioner from a county that has those types of people. And as long as I'm talking about those people, I guess I wouldn't have the opportunity to be here if it wasn't for them, because they've given me the opportunity to serve for 26 years. 7 elections I've been through for Wright County Commissioner, and 7 times I've been given the opportunity to serve. So to those individuals, particularly in my district, I offer them my appreciation for that, because there was others that ran too that would have been done fine. And I know sometimes people think, the guy's been there too long, it's time to make a change, but something I did apparently worked for them, and they were willing to give me another chance, and I'm appreciative of that, and I hope I didn't let them down. I certainly have tried to do as well as I could do for the past 26 years, and I think we've had a lot of successes. Let's see here. Do I got anything else on this list? As I step away, I'm not sure. Someone asked me if I'm going to be sitting out there. I won't be. I probably won't be watching on TV or the internet, I guess. I'm happy we're able to do that. I think the transparency that exists is great, but I don't expect to be looking over my shoulder. I think we've accomplished a lot of good things here. As I look around the room and see folks, and I don't want to get into pointing out certain ones because I'll overlook others. But a lot's been accomplished in 26 years. I've had just a tiny part of it. Some things I perhaps had more to do with, others I had literally nothing to do with. I'm proud of all of the accomplishments. But I guess as I leave here today, I think just the final thing I want to suggest to you is that as an organization, we can help people and do well for people. And it doesn't just mean spending money and giving things out. I mean, to some extent, helping people and doing for people, I feel very strongly is being conservative in our approach. That's a way of helping people, having the most efficient government we can have, and I tried to do that. One other thing I'm going to touch on too, because some people may suggest and sometimes I've had some controversy surrounding me as a commissioner and haven't always said and done what everybody wanted or thought, but the English former Prime Minister Winston Churchill stated, and I'm sure most of you probably heard this, but he said, "You have enemies good. At some time in your life you've stood for something." So I guess there may be some folks out there that didn't like everything I did, and they were against me when I tried to do it, but I guess I'm proud that I took a stand on issues that I felt were in the best interest of the county and the citizens that I represented, and I'm hopeful that others felt that way as well. I guess with that, I'm going to close and take my chair and say so long. Thank you.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Swatsky is not crying at this point.
Mr. Chair, if I might just say a quick word. It's just been a real honor. I mean, I was one of the people that watched the county board for years, and I think I've called you a couple times and I said, great job, you know, and a lot of times it was a 4-1 vote, and Pat was the one that I thought made the right one. I think I said I called you a couple times at least, but just the thing is, serving with you though for the last 4 years has been an honor in that not just your knowledge and stuff, but just who you are as a person, and you do care about people, you care about this county deeply, and that's just evident. I mean, working with you, like you said, you might have somebody that disagrees with you, but they couldn't question that you didn't love this county and want what's best for it. So thank you for everything you've done for the county, but also thank you personally for helping me out in this last 4 years, because this is a lot of things to learn doing this job, and it was nice having you around. So thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, I have to agree with Charlie, except for the one thing. Now, I know which crazy person you were always talking about that was calling you all the time.
That's out of the bag.
You never did mention any names, but now it's coming together.
No, but I think back, it was like the metal detectors. I'm like, we do not need a metal detector. We need them up at courts. And I know I called you about that one, and then there was, they put a 4-way stop south of Waverly, and it didn't need to be, and it is yet. But Pat was, I think that was a 4-1 vote too, you know, so there was a couple of them that were, I thought you did the right thing on.
Thank you. I'm going to miss your history. You got that.
The mind that remembers.
Like the county coordinator said, that you get that steel mind where you just remember everything. And even when we disagree with you, you're able to pull it out from history. So we're going to miss that. And I appreciate everything you have taught me. And again, we don't agree on everything, but you're right that you really do care about the citizens of Wright County.
Thank you. And as I did last week, I passed the historian title over to Susan. And I did share one of my secrets. Many of you probably weren't here to hear it, but if I don't remember it, I just make it up, and nobody else was here, so who are they to question?
Mr. Chair, one of the things is being one of that, we've had disagreements. I used to be a mayor, and that disagreements through the years, it's always worked out well. Everybody's got their side of the story. What I do appreciate about you is once the vote is taken, it's over. I mean, prevailing or not. And some people have a hard time doing that. You've always had it's moved on to the next subject, and I do like that about serving with you. And the knowledge and the history you bring here helps us that haven't been here as long as you have, and the expansion of county employees, services, everything else that goes along with it. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. You know, relative to moving on, and I appreciate you saying that, because perhaps some of my greatest challenges with some other commissioners over the years maybe had to do with them not moving on an issue and the conflict that it created thereafter on issues if folks don't do that, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. I mean, we came on 4 years ago. You had 4 very, very different personalities that took office, and we walked in, and I'd never been elected to anything before. I was I think the only person sitting here that had never held an elected position, and so I had a huge learning curve, and you were always so patient when I had questions, and your history of knowledge going back. I mean, I knew things from being an employee of the county prior to this, but I didn't have the perspective on so many different committees and the departments, and you know, you're always very, very patient and respectful. That you didn't tell me, you never called me dumb. Thank you. Thank you. To my face, I don't know. But yeah, and the numbers, I mean, your memory and your ability to come up with a number, which just always amazed me. So thank you very much for guiding us in the last 4 years. The first budget process we went through was like, I mean, you get this book and it's got all the numbers, and, just going through it was, a real experience, so, yeah, it's been a good 4 years. Like you said, we've had disagreements, and we've had sometimes some pretty very strong disagreements, but we walk away from a vote, and it's done, and we move on, so.
Well, relative to being nice, first of all, it reminds me of something Frank Burns said in MASH once. He said, "It's nice to be nice to the nice." But beyond that, not only is it the right thing to do, but also there may be a time in the future where I need your vote too, so.
A true political gamesman.
Okay, anything else to, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to wish you luck in your new
Yeah.
position as a crossing guard.
Yeah.
I think you'll be an excellent crossing guard. I'm assuming that the sheriff's office will be getting numerous phone calls, but I'm just kidding. You won't be a crossing guard.
Positive feedback, I hope?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else to come before the board today? There being no further business, we are adjourned at 9:48 a.m.